It's like trying to crap through a straw.
Yeah.
You can't. It doesn't work. Now, your option one is, well, let's make a loop. And so now instead of going from an 8 to a 4 to a 6, you're going from an 8 to a 4 to 2 6s.
Yeah.
That's not going to help anybody except for maybe the person that's off from that new 6 that you're going to connect. But the guy on the back corner,
So option 2 is good?
you have to.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
You
agree.
absolutely have to.
I
You're going
agree.
to destroy that 4-inch line.
This is where my fire department experience hurts me because I'm used to dealing with pressurized water, and this is not pressurized water. This is gravity fed water. So if you think of it like if you have 2 oil drums, double oil drums in your house, you only feed 1 oil drum, but gravity equalizes the 2 liquids. Okay, and in a water line, your water tank being the highest point, okay, it's supposed to equal out those pressures all the way through the system, no matter what size it is. But you do get into restriction and water.
Your example works, but when you start putting taps on those drums and you're drawing on them,
I'm with you 100%.
It's a whole different.
I'm just
ballgame.
saying what the engineer came back to me with.
Yeah.
And that was a hard thing for me to wrap my mind around because I agree with you. That was my whole thing. How the hell did they think that
Doesn't work.
Just the friction loss alone? He goes, you don't have pressure. He goes, you're not getting that friction loss. He goes, you are going to lose some volume, amount of flow that is allowed through that 4-inch pipe versus what's allowed through a 6. So he goes, fire flows, you're 100% right. You know, you're never going to be able to get the fire flow that you would need to put a hydrant in. 8 inches is the minimum you're going to do that with. So.
Yeah, no, option 2. I got to cut out, guys.
All right.
Have fun.
Do you
I
live on that
appreciate
street?
The ARC has
I
a
thought
whole-
it was that, yeah.
So,
I'm like, I know, I'm the mayor on the street, I don't recognize him.
So number seven.
Thanks.
all right. Thanks for coming.
So number 79 that you referred to, that's the last house on the end of the line?
No,
No.
it's my house.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm the one that volunteered to have it set up.
I see.
Way to go, Rick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we needed to have
Yeah,
a mid-screen.
The neighbor next door to me, the blue house, has half the water pressure than I do.
Really?
It comes to theirs house first,
Yeah,
then it does mine.
Yeah, it's
Still, it's crappy, but
oh well.
this
Well,
is
good luck and hope you get through and do it.
This is something affects everyone that's sitting here. That thing states about, I think, 30,000 the water district, which is us, pays. You seen it, LaBerge seen it, because I gave him the blueprint from the town. The approved subdivision water lines, when it was approved by Andy Abdullah, was 6-inch all the way through and a continued loop. They haven't been able to find whoever approved the changes to put that 4-inch and not continue to loop.
4
So
It was put in
it was
72.
supposed to be a 6-inch. I got the approved subdivision map.
It's for 72?
Yes, Andy Abdullah signed it.
Well, that was filling
So
out in,
I'm saying you, but I'm not meaning you. I'm meaning the town. The town let that problem happen. The town helped create our water district problem when Garrow's was gonna abandon the system. You weren't in office, but the exact word of the one that was sitting there was, let them abandon the system. But they had no help for us. I know he was involved, and I think your wife was highly involved in getting the water district set up. So I don't feel the water district, because I know the town has some money. I'm not saying they pay for all of it, but to me, the town should help pay for at least probably half of that 30.
I can't do it.
The town has no reserve fund.
No, the town has lots of reserve fund. But I cannot spend money out of the general fund for a special district. It's against the law.
Yeah.
I can't take money that everybody's contributed to in the town and it's called gifting and gift it to a special water district. It's illegal.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to do that. That's what I was telling you with the ARPA funds, being that they were dropped on us. There was no guidance on what projects there was. Don't get me wrong, It was a 4-corner box originally, okay? They said they wanted it on water infrastructure, sewer, high-speed internet. Well, what am I missing? It was 4. Water, sewer, high-speed internet.
The water.
We could spend it on the town web, which we didn't spend any on that, but you could spend it on upgrading the town web system so that when you had a pandemic, you could keep everybody in the loop, natural disasters, that kind of thing. Now they've opened it up where, and that was part of the change. Like I said, they went from a 2-year to a 4-year for these projects. And the other change was that they assumed that every town, village, or city, or anywhere in the United States would had $1 million loss due to COVID. Our ARPA money is going to be a little over 500,000. So we got 250 something thousand last July. We'll get another 250 something thousand this July. So we'll end up with about $500,000. With that, if you don't do your own calculation and you assume that $1 million loss, then it opens it up for general use of expenditures throughout the town. So we could use it for paving, we could use it to upgrade the garage up there, we could use it for water districts, sewer. They can use it for almost anything now if you stay under that. Ours is only $500,000, so it's way under that. Excuse me, it was $10 million loss. So we're way under that. So after talking to the associations of towns, and I know Reggie took that same webinar I did, they said if you don't assume that $10 million loss, then you're crazy, because it just opens it up for, to stay under the guidance and guidelines of the ARPA money. So to circle back a little bit and not sound like Jen Psaki, but we never had, this town never had the opportunity to take money like you were asking for out of the general fund. We could do it, but you would have to pay that money back within the year. So if we started in January and took, say, that $30,000 out of there, we would have to put that $30,000 back in the general fund by the means of a bond or whatever, or recouping it from you guys at that special district. It has to be put back in that general fund within the year. You can borrow it, but you can't just spend it on a special district. Does that
Trying to
make
save
sense?
us money.
Well, maybe if we
Back in
reduce it.
72,
Go ahead.
72 when they started that development, it was all private property. I don't think the town had any responsibility on any of that at that point in time.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, and that was, I should have addressed that too. The reason why, to my understanding, I wasn't here, but from what I now know after 2.5 years of doing this job, that was a private water system.
Right.
The Garros owned that water system.
No, he didn't. He bought it from the previous owner.
Right, but he still owned it. Okay, at that point in time, it was Garros water
Right,
system.
at the time it was
Right.
abandoned. He was
Okay.
gonna abandon
So the
it.
town can't just take over a private water
Right,
district.
that's the reason we had
So
to
the
do it.
only way the town could have took that over is if he would abandon it. If he abandoned it, then the town has the responsibility to get you back water. So then we could have took that for a token dollar, okay? Because there has to be a monetary value to change property of any kind. And for $1, the town could have took that system back over. But without him going through the full abandonment, there was nothing legally this town could have did while he was still ownership of. Just like I can't go to your house and say, I want your garage.
So that-
We couldn't go to his Garrow and say, we want your water district and you're giving it to us. If he abandoned it, then a bunch of abandonment laws kicked in which would have allowed the town to take over. Then we could have worked with the bond,
Yeah.
like I've been working on for the Morsel Water
Yeah.
District. I'm not saying at that point in time they'd had the ambition to do it, but they may have. And like I said, then you could have, looked for CDBG grant or USDA or the WIA grants, or there's multiples. I've even put in for congressional spending for the Morsel Water Project. I heard for one senator's office. I'm hoping that one goes through. We'll go in a year. And we didn't get the WIA, but we got the other two. And there's even the Northeastern Regional Border Grant. There's a bunch of them out there. I mean, they're not gonna fall in your lap, you gotta work for them, and I got stacks of paper that high that I've been working on over 2.5 years to get us to where we are on all 3 of these projects. So we're all working on, trying to do something with Ricks and Ave up there too. But,
He was never gonna abandon it, he wanted the money, so that's, if he abandoned it, that would have been the best bet.
that would have been the
But
best bet for you guys.
we knew he never would,
And it was the only,
and the bond was the only choice at that time.
Because there's only one lot on that street that's big enough to dig a well according to the Department of Health.
Correct.
Gorman's.
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So, I wasn't involved with that, I can't really say what could have, may have, would have happened there, and I can only explain to the best of my
We're
knowledge
paying a lot of money.
their reasoning.
No, we're still paying.
So,
Well, thank you.
if, so everybody here is in agreement,
Yes.
moving on, yes, sir.
No, I'm all in favor of option 2. I'm just curious, what would the time frame for project completion be? Any idea? I mean, I know that it's very uncertain. Are we
Right.
talking about this calendar year possibly, or next?
It could be late this year. It would depend upon, I would say, working with the engineer and the contractor that gets the bid saying, okay, if we're getting in October and it's gonna extend the length of this project because of cold weather and
Right.
such, and it's cheaper to start it in the spring,
Yep.
then that could be the option that we start first thing
I was
next
just
spring.
curious.
Depending on the bidding process, and we're early in the summer, and depending on, like Mr. Facto had said, what companies are already committed to different projects already and whether they can fit it in. It could feasibly go, late summer, early fall. This relatively, although, you say it's a big project, this is a
To us, it's big, it's small.
minor
Yes.
project,
Yeah, small.
Murnane or one of those companies that size that does it. It's minimal to them.
Right.
I mean, we're looking at an $8.1 million project for the Morsel Water District. That's a big project, and they said, nope, no problem, 1 year, less than 1 year.
Okay.
We had that all done.
As far as
And that blew my mind. I figured it'd be a 2.5 year, start to go.
What news media or what source would they provide us with as homeowners to let us know so we can tell them yes or no on whatever and request, like I'm gonna request have them check that shut-off valve and replace if they have to. How will we hear about that?
All right, so we're in the middle of turning over this website, so it's interactive like that. As a matter of fact, each one of us will have our own emails on there, so you can, email us directly.
Okay.
It'll have our name with our email by it. And as soon as you click on my name and email me, you can ask people in this town. When they email me, I get back to them. Okay, it might be a day or two. Sometimes I can get it that same day, but I never let anybody hang. They may not like the answer I give them. Sometimes it's just things that I can't do. Like I was telling you, I still have to play by the rules that are handed to me, but I always tell them the truth, whether they like it or not. I can only tell them the truth and go from there and say, hey, we can work on what you want to accomplish, or I can't do it because there's nothing I can do about it, like I explained to you. But yeah, that would be a good way to reach out, and it would save me and the receptionist doing a bunch of letters like we did last time, but we just wanted to make sure, and Mr. Facto was adamant that we send letters out to everybody rather than just put it on the
Don't worry, we'll get the mayor on
webpage
it.
and put it in the paper, because not everybody reads the paper, not everybody goes to the webpage. So at least we did our best to try to get everybody in the system in the know.
I'm pretty surprised. I figured more people would be here
Yeah.
tonight.
So you
but-
assume the rest of them agree to it?
Okay, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're not here, I agree.
No,
Yeah,
in
so
my-
I think we've had a quorum.
Yeah.
According to the college, we have a quorum, we're good.
In my limited experience as a politician, usually it's the people that don't want something to show up to scream about it. It's not.
Oh, yeah, we're not screwed. We just want to hear
Most of us are all in
about it.
favor of it.
So I think everyone here pretty much says option 2.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
So,
And if you could look into the
Yeah.
bond for the water.
yes, ma'am, I will.
Because
It's written at the top here. I'll
definitely-
make myself a note as soon as I go back to
for
my
it.
Okay.
office.
Perfect, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time. All right. Fairly good deal.
I don't suppose that was you I seen coming out of the park the other day, that truck.
Yeah, I thought that's your son drove it.
Yeah, it is.
My son must have, hey, that's, your nephew? Old truck?
All right, we'll see how that one comes out. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Looks like a dog. Hey,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go more, right?
Right, exactly.
You know, like Mira was saying, I really fixed money.
I get cute. But I found that is the norm. I found that,